American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
2016, year of the snake. Time for a change in the White House, y'all.
How's it going, folks? Thank you for tuning in. Click the share button. Let folks know we are live. As you know, they do not like to notify anybody that I'm live. So please let folks know we are live. Hey, Karen, how's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, Chuck, how's it going? Yeah, you got notified. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome, Chuck. You are in a rare category of people. The people who get notified that Suzzanne Monk is going live. Hello, Janet. How are you? There's my monkin in here somewhere. Hello, Carol. How are you? Love my Patriot, Carol Elstrom. Love my Patriot. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Nick, hello, hello, hello. Click the share button. Let folks know we're live. We're going to be talking about we're going to talk about some really important stuff tonight, you guys, and what we're going to do. We got some work to do. You're going to help me. We're going to help each other. That's what we're going to do. We're going to help each other save America, you guys. Make America great again. I'm sorry to hear that, Karen. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you in Tennessee. I'm so sorry to hear about that. 2020 has been brutal. I have friends who are getting divorced. They've lost their business. They've lost family members. Karen and your mom passing away and your father and our pets. I love pets. Just me. I'd be more broke up over my cat. I tell you, I love those little furry ones. If without the furry ones, what I have, those are my babies. Those are my joy right there. So I totally understand. It's been a rough year. And through all of it, with the rioting, burning stuff, we got mask ordinances, we got crazy people with bad science trying to destroy the world. It's madness. Madness. Come on, Trump. Thank heavens for Trump. Can you imagine how bad it would be if we had President Hillary Clinton going through all this? You know there'd still be a pandemic if there was Hillary Clinton, right? We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. Click the share button, folks. Let people know we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. You are watching the one and only Trump Talk US live in DC with Suzzanne Monk. I'm Suzzanne Monk. We're 8 minutes away from our nation's beautiful capital. We're 15 minutes away from the president's White House and some crazy people who are over there protesting because they want to remove the president. They hate the president, mostly because they're Marxists and they're communists. And President Trump has done more to defend individual property rights, individual liberty, and the beauty and gift that is capitalism than any other president. And this is why they hate him so much. They hate him so much, they're going to try to steal the election. So I want to welcome everybody to the room. Please click the share button. As you know, Zuckerberg, he doesn't want you listening to me. In fact, what Zuckerberg would like you to know, he did an interview, And what he would like all of you Facebook users to know is that the election could go, the counting for the election could go well beyond the day of the election. We might not know. Zuckerberg needs you Americans to be ready. You social media folks, you need to be ready, he says, for weeks and weeks of counting. What did your girl tell you? It's almost as if like somebody could have told you that they're going to try to steal the election by using mail-in voting to extend the counting out, play this little game, try to steal the vote through this long, drawn-out counting process. It's almost as if somebody would have told you that. And if that same person had been saying the whole time, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to be prepared to protest voter fraud the day after the election. Oh, wait, somebody did tell you that. She's me. I told you that. I let you know that. This is exactly what they're planning. Now, folks, let's go kind of break it down step by step what these Democrats have been doing. So we have the pandemic. Thank you for sharing, Janet. We have the pandemic, okay? The pandemic is a critical part of the process. Now, let me just explain something to you, because some people get confused and they say this, and I disagree. The pandemic, they say, is created to affect the American election. No, that's a side effect. That's a bonus for the pandemic. Thank you, President Trump. That's a bonus. The real reason that the pandemic is in place is to establish the New World Order, put us under globalist control. That is what they have attempted to do. They're doing it very effectively in other countries because the economic fallout from this shutdown, as I told you from day one, we're going to see massive hunger in the third world. We're going to see all these problems. I said that. I told you that. We're seeing it. That's exactly what's happening now. So I had to keep the flag from falling down. What the World Bank does, what the big globalist bankers then do is they go into these countries and they say, hey, you're broke. You don't have any money. You need all this money to help bail out your people, the food. They're starving. We'll help you out with a loan. And they've done this again and again. The globalists at the UN have done this again and again. This isn't the first time they've played the third world, put them in financially dire situations, and then loaned them money to get them out of whatever problem it is. They're loan sharks. The World Bank, the UN, is an international loan shark. They loan shark countries. That's part of what this pandemic was expected to do, was to loan shark so many countries and get more and more people, more and more nations under the control of this globalist banking system. Okay? The Chinese have bought heavily into it. They are controlling a good deal of it. They're not in control of all of it. Obviously, the Rothschilds, the typical characters. We know these big, I call them the banking cabal. These big globalist bankers, critical component of this whole mix, but China also a big component. As you see, the China virus. The reason you see China involved in this in every way is because China is a collectivist nation. They're a communist nation. The globalists want nations that are already set up so that power can be taken and easily wielded. That does not happen in the United States of America, you guys. This is why we are the icing on the cake. We are the star on top of the Christmas tree. Getting America to go socialist is the rallying cry of the communists and the socialists for generations now. For generations now. And they've actually been working on it for generations now. Infiltrating our government, infiltrating our politics, buying up our property, doing everything they can to control and manipulate the American population through entertainment, through our media, etc., so that we can be groomed into a society that will accept what the rest of the world has been forced to accept, globalist rule. We're not accepting it very well. To be fair, we accepted it a little too much. Hey, Karen, how's it going? We accepted, some of us took it a little too much. We're all still wearing the mask. We let them shut down our businesses. We've let a lot of things go by that should have never happened in America, that we should have pushed back on. We didn't push back from the beginning. Many of us literally allowed fear. I know, right? Thank you, Nick. They can kiss my grits. I'm going to put this up. That reminds me of Flo. I loved that show. I loved that show, Alice. Flo, who could say, kiss my grits. Thank you for sharing, Karen. Kiss my grits. Love her. And it's exactly what we're saying. These globalists, we're not doing this. We're not playing this game. And yet, this is the situation they put in. They've tried it many times. That's why the pandemic, only part of it manipulates the election. But that's a very important part because it does effectively allow the Democrats to implement this strategy that they have implemented, the mail-in voting strategy. What I'm coining the term Operation Election Chaos. This is what the Democrats are operating. They are operating Operation Election Chaos. They intend to use mail-in voting to say there's so many mail-in ballots out there. We have to keep counting. We can't call the results of the election. Now, I want you to understand something. They fully know they're going to lose the presidency of the United States. They know that 100%. 100%. There's no doubt in their mind. There's no doubt in anybody's mind. They're going to lose the presidency. Joe Biden knows he's going to lose. The Democrats know they're going to lose. They know. They see the internal poll. They're not stupid. I mean, they are stupid, but they're not blind and stupid. The hope is to be able to confuse the election process enough. Pay attention to what I'm saying. This is really important that you understand what I'm saying. The hope is to confuse the election process enough to hold the House. They're after Congress, you guys. I keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it until Election Day and beyond. They're after Congress. They know they can't win the presidency. They know Donald Trump is going to be reelected president. They want to ensure that the swell of Trump voters does not push into power a Republican Congress. That's why they need to slow down the counting. Okay? Not because of President Trump. It's going to be a landslide. I'm going to tell you right now. President Trump is going to win his election in a landslide. It's going to be like Reagan second time. Like 2 states will be blue. It's going to be ridiculous. You're going to be shocked at the states that Trump flips this election. You'll be shocked. You'll be like, what? That blue ass state? That's what you're going to say. You're going to actually even say blue ass. You don't even know you're going to say it, but you're going to be so shocked. That's what you're going to say. That blue ass state win for Trump. That's what you're going to say. Watch. Mark my words. That being said, if they can slow down the count, where we get the problems are in the down ballot races. That's where they can really start manipulating. Nobody pays attention to that. Everyone's going to be paying attention to the presidential election. Everyone. Less people are going to be paying attention to the congressional races. Sure. They're going to say, okay, thank you, Carol. Yeah. No worries, Chris. Everybody send some love to Chris McDonald, our Munkin. Can't make it tonight. We love him. We appreciate him. And we're just sending him some blessings and positivity and rejuvenation. Get some rest, my friend. Get some rest. So they know that we're not going to be focused on those risks. We're still not focused. I've been telling you guys, we need to know who our Congress people are. Most people still don't know who your Congress people are. They don't know who's running for office in Congress. So if you don't even know who's running, how are you going to stand up for the race that's getting stolen from you? Might be time to figure out who your congressperson is, figure out who is running against them, figure out who you're voting for. Thank you, Jeanette. Thank you. John James, great candidate. Great candidate. And he's a perfect example about what I'm talking about, because John James up in Michigan should be senator right now. We should be talking about Senator John James. You know why we're not? Because they stole the vote in Michigan. After the election, looked like it was going to get called for John. Okay? Votes are coming in. Votes keep coming in. Votes keep coming in. Oh, it flipped. Same thing happened with Young Kim out in California. Several races were lost that way, you guys, because they kept counting, because they know we're not going to pay attention to each senator ballot, each congressional ballot. So they know they can play the game with us and try to manipulate this election by dragging it out. Now, they tried this game with the mailboxes. They tried to blame President Trump for stealing the mailboxes. It went badly. It went badly. It went so badly that the DNC has now started to put out advertisements talking about it's not going to be as dangerous as you think to go vote. Really, DNC? Really, DNC? This is what we're talking about? After all of this, after the mailbox lies, President Trump is stealing mailboxes. I mean, come on. Now, after all of this ridiculous shenanigans, okay, you're going to now tell us, just go vote in person because it's not that dangerous? I don't know what to tell you people. That's madness. It's madness. You Democrats are crazy. But that's where we're at. Because they're starting to see that their mail-in scheme is not going to be as effective as they once thought. One, we can mail in our ballots too. And yes, here's the thing, you guys. Yeah, DWS tried to sneak into the post office at 4 a.m. Good point, Karen. This is the thing. They know which ballot you have. They know which party you're affiliated with when you get the ballot. They've figured out a code so that they can read all of that. They have a huge problem, as we've talked about on this show before. We've talked about this. We're going to talk about it. We're going to keep talking about it because I am going to advocate voting in person. Vote in person, if at all possible. And by if at all possible, what I mean is, unless you are dead or strapped to a hospital bed, go vote in person. That's how important this vote is. Now, if you're strapped to the hospital bed, okay, let's just take the scenario. You're strapped to the hospital bed, you're terminally ill, you're going to die, but you're holding on until the election because you don't want to vote Democrat. And you know if you die, they're going to count you as a Democrat vote. So you're holding on. You're holding on. But the only way you're going to be able to vote is through the mail. Please sign up for an official absentee ballot. Go through the process to get an official absentee ballot. Why? Because your vote's going to get counted better that way. I'm just trying to get your vote counted, you guys. If you have signed up for an absentee ballot, you've matched the signatures, you're going through the application process. It's a process. That's why absentee ballots are so much more effective, so much more appropriate. Mail-in ballots is everybody gets sent a ballot and you just mail it in. Who even knows who's mailing that in? It's madness. And they're like, oh, well, the signatures match. Let me tell you something. I've been able to forge signatures since I was in high school. Okay? I can fake your signature. Give me a few minutes. Please. It's not that hard. It is not that hard. Yes, Lisa, going in to vote in person for President Trump. That's right. In-person voting. Don't risk losing America on the mailbox. Okay? If, however, in our scenario, you're strapped to the hospital bed, you're dying, you're holding out. We appreciate you holding out, not dying, because you don't want to vote Democrat. You're going to hold out. You have that terminal illness, but I can make it through maybe first week of November. I'm going to get through. I'm going to get that vote. Okay? I'm going to mail it. The only way I'm going to do it, I can mail. I can mail the vote. All right? Let's see if that's the only way. Now, let me tell you something. Apply for your absentee ballot. If for some reason you are not able to apply for your absentee ballot, I don't know what happens. Aliens have held you hostage. They have said, if you apply for an absentee ballot, we're going to laser your whole family. Okay? So you're like, all right, I can't apply for the absentee ballot, which would be the safe way to vote for the mail, as has been time honored, because the aliens have told me that they're going to kill my whole family if I do that. So what I need to do is use my mail-in ballot. Okay. We're already don't do it. But if you must, make sure your signature is signed. Make sure every single line that requires your signature is signed. So important. That's what gets your ballot thrown out. Okay? make sure that you put it in the mail with enough time ahead of time to get postmarked appropriately. And then this is the most important thing. Even if you are dying, you're strapped to the hospital bed, okay? You have aliens who have holding you hostage. So you can't actually use the absentee ballot system, which would be much safer. You have to use the mail-in ballot system. Oh, no. Most of those mail-in ballots, as we've talked about, have a prepaid postage on the envelope. The post office does not postmark prepaid postage. Let me explain to you what I just told you again today. The post office does not postmark prepaid postage. Why, Suzzanne? Why wouldn't the why wouldn't the post office post? Well, because the reason they postmark it is so it excuse me, marks the stamp. So you can't reuse the stamp. Well, the prepaid postage is already prepaid. You can only use it once. You can't use it more than once. It's prepaid. So there's no reason to stamp it. There's no reason to stamp it. So the post office, as a general rule, does not postmark mail that is prepaid postage. Well, guess what? The ACLU and the Democrats and the left were very upset that people would have mail-in voting, but that they might have to pay for a stamp to vote. That amounted to a poll tax. And we can't have a poll tax, so we need to make sure that all of the votes are prepaid. Do you know what happens to a vote when it does not get postmarked by the post office? It gets thrown out. It is not counted. If your vote is not postmarked by the post office, you did not vote. Even if you filled out the form, even if you signed your name on all the lines, you sealed, you licked it, everything, even if you did that, if it doesn't get the postmark, you've done everything right. You voted, you did everything right. It goes to the post office. We're not going to postmark it. It's a prepaid postage envelope. It gets to the Board of Elections. The Board of Elections goes, this isn't dated. We don't know when you mailed this. This is an invalid vote. Into the garbage. They literally take your vote. They go, oh, this is an invalid vote. And there's your vote. In the garbage. No hanging chads. None of this. It just doesn't get counted. So we need to not mail in vote, you guys. If you're going to mail in vote through the traditional system of absentee ballots. Use the absentee ballot system. That's what it is for. If you must, but if it is at all possible, in-person voting. In-person voting is so important. Yeah, Karen, isn't that crazy? The Democrats literally set up a system to make sure that your vote didn't get counted because it went through the post office. Yeah. Now, you can prevent that from happening by taking your vote directly to the post office and demanding it be postmarked. You can tell them this is a vote. I need it postmarked, even though it's prepaid postage. And they will postmark it. If you have to use the mail-in voting system, of course, because the aliens are going to kill you. That's why you didn't apply for your absentee ballot, or you didn't just show up at the polls. Show up at the polls. Show up at the polls. But here's the thing. So many states have implemented this absentee ballot system, this mail-in ballot system, that what we are going to see is the Democrats attempt to make sure that the voting process, the counting process, continues on long after the date. Long after the date. They're going to kind of try to keep distracting us with the count until we lose attention. Now, what did I just say? Do they think they can steal the presidency with that? No. I don't know. That's a very good question. Karen, pull this up. I'm going to pull this question up. What if we put stamps over the prepaid part? I think that might defeat their plot, Karen. I think if stamps were on the envelope and you didn't say prepaid and there were stamps in the place, they'd think you were an idiot because you were sending them postage you didn't need to. But you might be idiot like a fox because those stamps would require a postmark. So, yes, Jeanette, you are absolutely correct. These mass mail-in ballots have an identifying R or D on the back of the envelope. So when someone is in for Biden, there goes your vote. That is correct. That is correct. Now, they're still going to have some problems because a lot of those D envelopes they're opening up are going to have Trump votes in them, baby. I'm just telling you. Sad, but your Democrats suck. Democrats suck. You're not running anybody good. A lot of the Democrats are going to cross over with President Trump. But their hope is to be able to throw it out and to distract the counting long enough so that we no longer care. We no longer care what happened. We just want to get it over with. They did it. They did it in the Al Gore election. Do you guys remember the Al Gore election? The whole reason of hanging chads, the whole reason the Supreme Court made that decision for us was based on this idea that we had gotten to the point where everyone was just too upset. They were too upset and frustrated. And so what we needed to do was just make the decision. Just make a decision. We need to make a decision. If we just make the decision, everybody will be happier if we just make a decision. So that was dumb. That was really, really, really dumb because we ended up with George Bush, who was a horrible war hog, absolutely horrible for this country. Nothing good came out of any of that. And that led to Obama, who basically had the exact same policies as President Bush. So what was even different about it? Nobody knows. All of it was ridiculous. All of it was ridiculous. I know the Hanging Chads was a nice name for a boy band, a gay boy band too, because I feel like that should be a stripper troupe, the Hanging Chads. So we're going to see something similar to that, dragging it out, trying to be able to utilize. Now, they don't have the Supreme Court. They have Congress. And so they think they can use Congress to manipulate the situation. One of the reasons we should have never let them keep Congress in the 2018 election. But here we are, folks. Here we are. That's the situation we put ourselves in. And that's where we're at. Now, what can we do? What can we do to prevent them succeeding at this mission? We don't want that. We don't want them stealing the votes. We don't want them distracting us with the counting. Okay? We don't want them dragging it out and taking Congress and holding Congress, keeping us from getting Congress back because they've cheated in all the congressional races. Trump's been decided. We're all excited. Yay, Trump, 4 more years. We're super excited. They're going to let Trump win. You don't understand that. I need you to get what's going to happen because everyone's like, oh, they're going to fight. They're going to push back. They're going to try to prevent Trump's election. They can't. They cannot. They will lose. They know they're going to lose, but this is what they're going to do. They're going to prevent Trump's agenda by stealing Congress back, by keeping Congress, by preventing us expanding our margin in the Senate, and by preventing us from taking back Congress. This is why they want to steal the vote. This is why they want to slow down the counting, because we're going to all be celebrating Trump's victory, and folks are going to be finding out, oh, yeah, that congressperson that I voted for, they didn't make it. After the election, it looked like they were going to win the night of the election, but after 3 weeks of counting mail-in votes, oh, the Democrats kept Congress. How's that? Do you see my eyeballs? Eyeballs. Look at me. We need to prevent that from happening. We need to prevent that from happening. We need to be savvy to what they're going to try to do. We need to be psychologically aware to what they're going to try to play with us. They're going to try to get us distracted with the joy of reelecting President Trump to forget that we're losing the House, and then we might as well have not elected President Trump at all, because it's going to be 4 more years of fighting the Democrats. We need the House. We need the momentum from President Trump on the ballot to get back the House. We're not going to get that back in the House if we do not stay vigilant. Vigilant. We need to be vigilant. So here's what we're going to be doing. As we've talked about on the show, as we're going to continue to talk about, I'm going to be talking about this with every single group in America. Every MAGA group, every Patriot group, the bikers, the knitters, everybody for Trump, I'm going to be talking to them because everyone needs to participate in this. We need to be ready in every single battleground state in the country, every battleground state, to be ready to go to the county board of elections in battleground counties like right here in Arlington, right here in Fairfax, right here in Northern Virginia. We need to be able to go to the board of elections day after election, demand a fair count. Demand a fair count. We're going to need people ready to go protest day after day. And here's the reality of the situation. Okay? You can't just be ready to go protest for 2 or 3 days. We're going to need teams of people ready to cycle in and out. Why? Because they're going to keep trying to count for weeks. Weeks. We need folks who are ready to go scream at the Board of Elections, demanding a fair vote count throughout November. Throughout November, I'm going to need people ready to go and protest. The more people who are ready on day one, the less people we will need throughout the month. The less protesting we will need, the more we are on top of it. But if we dick around, you guys, if we dick around and we don't get our teams ready and we're not ready to protest the day after, protest whether there's a reason to or not. Get our signs. Count it right. Count it right. Count it right. We're going to chant right away. And we need that pressure to stay on them throughout the month of November. Throughout the month of November. The next 2 months are about getting out the vote. We need to get voters registered. We need to get voters to the polls. We need to make sure those votes are getting counted. We need to make sure that people are getting the vote done. You must vote. You must vote. You must vote. We're going to be a communist nation in camps if you don't vote. I'm serious. You must vote. That being said, as important as getting the vote out, it's going to be equally important the day after the election. All of November is going to be about protecting the vote, getting an accurate count, accurately counting the vote. So, I've already set up the first Facebook group. We're going to start establishing groups in all of the battleground states. Here's what I need from you guys. If you can help me, this would be fantastic. Because what I need are team leaders in every battleground state. So Florida, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Arizona. I have a list. Okay. Let's see if maybe I can just pull it up. Maybe I can just pull up the list. Scott Pressler sent me the list he's been working on of battleground states. Let's see. Oh, maybe Messenger. I don't know. Somewhere in here I have oh, wait. I think I need to do this. It's my bad. My bad. I'm looking in the wrong place. Here, I'm going to pull up these battleground states. Give me just a quick second, you guys. There we go. Arizona, Maine, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida, Ohio, Iowa, and Georgia. So these are the states that we're going to be working. I am looking for team leaders in the states of Illinois, Maine, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida, Ohio, Iowa, and Georgia. Here's what's your job. Here's your job going to be as the team leader for your state, as the Stop the Steal team leader. You're going to find people in your state who can protest the day after the elections and ongoing. You're going to host events, namely protests in front of the board of elections. That's all you got to do. Set up an event, organize them for your area, coordinate with other people who maybe are in a different county from you. Hey, you guys are doing one? Great. We'll promote it. That's it. Make sure people are available and are protesting in your state at your board of elections on November 4th through November. I need people to help me. That's the job. It's going to be pretty simple. There isn't any money. You're not going to get paid. You're not going to get gratitude. No one's going to help you. You're just going to do it, and you're going to find friends, and they're going to be like, oh, that's a great idea. They will help you. But there's no magic campaign. Nothing happy is going to happen. We need to do this ourselves. We need to save the country ourselves. And that's just the reality of the situation. So, we have work to do, folks. We have work to do. I'm excited about it. I'm starting to get excited because we're getting to that point where I've been talking to you guys about Stop the Steal teams for a little while. We've been prepping throughout the last summer, throughout the shutdowns, really getting ready to push back against voter fraud. Their strategy is now being overtly revealed. So what they plan on doing is becoming clear to everyone. And what I find fascinating about that, what I find great about that, is that we were right. We knew what they were doing. We're on the pulse. We're on the pulse of what these Democrats are trying to do. So that confidence is very validating. We need to feel like, all right, we got this. We got this. We're going to need to work. The work is not going to get done by itself. We need to make sure the work gets done. That being said, we got this. We got this. But if you know someone in any of these battleground states, and frankly in any other state as well, who would like to set up a Stop the Steal team in their state, please message me, message Chris McDonald, or message me, message Trump Talk US. Get in touch with us. If you are capable of putting together 20 or 30 people to go protest, I need you. I need your help in getting this accomplished. It's going to be the most important thing we've done in a long time. It is preventing the steal of this election, preventing the congressional steal of this election. So that's what we're going to be working on. Please reach out to me if you are available to help me with this process, or if you know someone who is available to help, because it's going to be important. That's what we're going to be working on. So, all right. That's what we're doing with the election, you guys. That's where the election is at. We have a lot of things that we need to continue to go forward. We're going to keep pushing on I love the campaign. They upped my game. Okay, so I was saying you need to bring you plus 5 people to the poll. The campaign is on you plus 10. So find friends, register voters, talk to your neighbors, get out there and have conversations. Ask people if they are registered to vote. Are you registered to vote? Who are you voting for? Don't assume. Don't assume who people are voting for. Listen, I live in the blackest neighborhood in Washington, D.C., which, as many of you know, is a very, quote, blue city, right? Very blue city. Well, I can tell you what right now, these Democrats, these citizens over here, they're not a fan of these Democrats. They're unhappy. They're unhappy with the mayor. They're unhappy with the policies. They're unhappy with the increased crime that's going on. They don't want to defund the police. They're not a big fan of what's the word I'm trying to look for? They're not a big fan of the underlying message of BLM, defunding the police, Marxism, etc. They support the idea that Black lives do matter, but the organization itself and its policies, my neighbors don't support that. They don't support that. They're not happy, and they're literally at the point where they're asking folks, "Hey, who are you voting for?" And you go, "Oh, we don't want to make well, I'm not voting for any of these clowns." Nobody over here likes Biden. None of the black community, none of my black neighbors like Biden. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to stay home. They'll stay home, or they will flip their vote, or they just won't vote for president and they'll vote for the other local races. But you're going to see a lot of black folks not want to support the Democrat candidate. It's pretty simple. And here, and part of it was what Ralph's saying. Ralph, you're absolutely right. All you got to do is just point out the riots and the Democrats that are refusing to help stop it. Yes, we had 138 businesses in the original George Floyd riots here in D.C. that were damaged right here in Anacostia in the black community. I am the only white person within, like, there's very few white people in my neighborhood. 95, 98% black community. Businesses destroyed here. Why would you be by Black Lives Matter and come over here and attack businesses here? Yeah. So you're going to see some really surprising things. You're going to see a lot of ways in which people are voting differently than they ever had before. I'm telling you this because now is the time to start having those conversations. Now is the time to start having those conversations. Be gentle, be loving, be a good person. Don't be a jerk. But start talking about the Democrats aren't doing a good job. That's what I'm doing in my Ward 8 group. We were talking about the DMV, for example, here in Washington, D.C. They've reopened by appointment only. The earliest available appointment at the DMV, at the Department of Motor Vehicles in Washington, D.C., is November 2021. Yeah, that's right, over a year away. The nearest appointment. Okay, so all of us who our tags are expired, or our license plate need to be renewed, our ID needs to be renewed. If you can't do it online in the computer, it's not going to happen this year. You're going to just be riding around illegal. Yeah. Are they going to give you tickets? Nobody knows. The chaos and uncertainty is maddening. And it's maddening to all my neighbors who are like, what the heck is going on? Why can't we just have the DMV open? The grocery store is open. Put up some plexiglass. Let's go to the DMV. No. You know who they blame for it? They blame Muriel Bowser. They blame the mayor. The communities are waking up to the Democrats and their damage. Yes, in part because of what we see BLM. I'm putting this up, Janet. BLM destroyed a lot of businesses in Kenosha. I was there on Saturday. Yes, in part of what we see, and they continue to bend their knee to the insanity on the front line, and we're seeing that. And we're seeing in our own communities. People are getting mad. So even though my community is upset about the shooting, a recent police shooting of a young man named Deon K., 18-year-old kid who had a gun, brandished it as he came at police officers, did not comply with police officers. Officers shot him in self-defense. There's a lot of discussion going on in the community, obviously, about that, as there should be. In any situation when an officer is compelled to use deadly force, the community should have a conversation, if not about the officer, about how we got to the situation where a young man has a gun and is committing suicide by cop. So, no one can go into the DMV. No one likes the mayor. We're seeing the problems as they are. More and more people are seeing who is actually causing the problem, which is why I'm saying it's a perfect opportunity to start talking those conversations. Not the I told you so conversations. Don't call your liberal friend who blocked you on Facebook and be like, I told you so. Not those. Not those. Those conversations with your neighbor who is always, you have a comfortable relationship. You think they might be, I don't know, maybe they're independents. They might be Democrats. I don't know. We never talked about politics. Now's the time to talk about politics. Now's the time to be like, hey, just checking if you're voting this year. Start up a conversation. Engage. Because what you're going to find is a lot of folks are frustrated. A lot of folks are fed up with the shenanigans. They're not buying into the BS anymore. And time again, given a little gumption, given a little support, given somebody who says, yeah, you know what? I like Trump. I gotta be honest. I mean, people can be mad if they want. I like it. That little gumption wins hearts and minds so much. Just that little validation of somebody saying, you know what? I like the president. I like what he's doing. I'm going to vote for him. You validate somebody else. So it's time to start having those conversations. It's time to start having those conversations with individuals. Now, yeah, Ralph, you're absolutely right. Ralph says the only problem is some of them are so deep in the cult they don't even want to hear the truth. That's right. But I'm not talking about starting those conversations. We're not, you're not going to win. You're not going to win the Antifa organizers over to vote for Trump. But you can win your neighbor over who maybe doesn't talk politics too much because they don't want to get into conflict. Or you can win over your kid's soccer coach because they just need a little push, a little somebody to say, yeah, I like the president. You can win over individuals, usually the ones that you think they're just not into politics. They're just not into politics. Those are your guys. Those are your guys. Find some new voters, you guys. Have some conversations. Open it up a little bit. And what's the worst can happen? You meet somebody who has crazy TDS, they're like, I hate Trump. You're like, all right. Walk on. You'll be fine. It's important we start engaging these individuals. I'm telling you, if it's possible to have these kind of conversations here in the Black community in DC, we're blue, deep Black community. Okay. If I'm having these conversations here, if I can wear my MAGA hood in this neighborhood, talk to my neighbors, if we can run Republicans in this community, if any of that can happen, and it all is happening, it can happen in your town. We're as blue and as Democrat as it can possibly be, and we're making inroads. So get busy. Get out there. Make some inroads. We have an opportunity. Now, why is it so important, Suzzanne? Why is it so important? Why does everybody talk about the Black community when it comes to President Trump? Let's talk about this for a minute because I think this is an important thing to understand. And some people don't understand why the president would work so hard to earn Black votes, gay votes, etc., votes that are particularly urban in the big cities, which are often Democrat. Why would the president work so hard for those votes? I mean, it seems like you're not going to win Chicago. You're not going to win, California, maybe. You're not going to win New York City. You don't know, but these are the things. You're not going to win those because they're too Democrat. That's what everyone says. They're too Democrat. You're never going to win. So it doesn't matter. But it does matter. Because when you take this message of America First, when you take this message that we're putting together against the Democrats and their big oligarchic machine, okay, when you take that sentiment and that energy, look, even in the cities, people are resonant to that. Do they admit it? No. Because you don't want your neighbors getting all mad at you and burning it down, making you hold your fist up while you're at the restaurant. You see what's happening in the cities. They want you to be afraid. They want to continue to suppress as much of that vote as possible, particularly in the cities, because that's going to help them beef up the Democrat numbers. Now, that's kind of what I'm saying, is that, we have this idea that, the cities, it can't be won. There's no point to keep pushing back. But the reality of the situation is this. Each and every big city is part of a state. Okay? So in the state of Illinois is a predominantly blue state, but there's a lot of red people who live in the rural parts of the state. Obviously, the city is super blue. It ends up being such a part of the vote that the city of Chicago, blues up the whole rest of the state. Even though there are many conservative voters, there's a large amount of Republicans as you go downstate, but the city counteracts. Now, if the city counteracts less, you can flip a state. What did you just say, Suzzanne? I'm going to say it again because it's important. If that blue pocket like Chicago gets less blue votes, it's still blue. It hasn't decided to vote Republican. They're not super Republican. They didn't win. Trump didn't win in Chicago, but less blue votes in Chicago. Okay. You get counting out over the state. That gives those red voters in the rural areas a bit more of a chance. You can flip states with very blue urban pockets that are predominantly red, states like Virginia, states like Illinois, states like Florida, states like California, let's be honest, states like New York, okay? States that have a big red population, but have urban pockets that are blue, blue, blue. You can flip that state by what I'm telling you right now. By getting as many votes, even in those blue, blue cities, even in the black community where, only 25%, or maybe even we're going to vote for Trump. Okay, well, if they don't get 20%, the Democrats lose, and they know it. They need 20. They need 20. They need that. So if they don't get 20% or more, if Trump gets 20% or more, they lose. They're going to lose because they can't hold the states, those purple states, those blue states. They can't hold them as blue. They turn purple when you don't have that strong urban vote. Detroit, in Michigan, for example. The cities are also the places where it's easiest to manipulate the vote. Look, if I only have 10 votes in a polling place, I'm not going to manipulate the vote. I'm not putting 50 votes for the other guy in a polling place that only had 10 voters. That's stupid. But if I'm processing 100, 200, 300 votes, 1,000 voters in a day, well, 50 here, 25 here, 10 here. I fudge the numbers on several precincts in the urban area. Well, now my guy's up by several thousand of fake numbers that I've fudged little by little by little in each of these urban precincts. Yeah, that's how they do it. They steal the vote in the urban areas and they manipulate the vote in the urban areas. The fact that so many voters are going to be demoralized and so many voters are going to be upset with the status quo, that there are going to be so many people in the cities that do not come out to vote for the Democrat candidate, it's going to be brutal, which is why they're trying to run this mail-in shenanigans, keep counting the vote long past the election day so that they can manipulate after the fact. They can find mail-in ballots, i.e. fill out the ballots after the fact and send them in. So we're going to have to be ready. I'm going to continue to prepare folks to be ready. But it is important to continue to push into those blue areas. Even if you say, look, I don't need to register voters. I don't need to talk to anybody about Trump. Nobody in my neighborhood is going to vote for Trump. No. We need you. We need you more than we need the guy in the country, to be honest. I mean, while I appreciate we want as many votes to come out in rural areas as possible, what we really need is votes that come out for the president. And what we really need is those votes to come out in urban areas to start to balance out the ridiculous Democrat vote. Now, we got our cute little troll here for the minute, and we're going to put this up because I want to bring this up. This is an important reason why you should vote against the Democrats and for President Trump. First time since 1946, our deficit is higher than GDP. Do you know why that is? Do you know why our deficit is higher than GDP right now? Because, how's it going, Jane? Because the Democrats who wanted to follow the World Health Organizations, the Democrats who were more than happy to suck Fauci's every word out of his mouth, Anthony Fauci, who is George W. Bush's bioweapons expert, has worked for 6 presidencies, is as deep state as the day is long. Anthony Fauci, don't trust him. He's making millions of dollars off this vaccine they want to sell you. Anthony Fauci, he and his friends, the radical left, supported by the World Health Organization, who are funded and pushed by the globalist cabal banking organizations that fund the Democrats, that have funded the Democrats for quite some time. They insisted we shut down the country for a long time. And now we have lost GDP. We have lost businesses. We have lost companies. We have lost industry. Why? Because the Democrats want to stay shut down. In fact, even today, the Democrats want to play the game. No, see, baby, this is the idiots. That's why I always bring the trolls up. Trump is president. He shut it down. No, sir. You need to look and do your research. President Trump, through the CDC, made guidelines. The state governors, the state mayors, issued executive orders of emergency and decided how many businesses would be open, what kind of businesses would be allowed to be open, whether or not you needed to wear a mask, how long those mandates would be for. Your Democrat mayors and your Democrat governors did that. And what you should probably look into is the fact that your Democrat mayors and your Democrat states that did shut down actually have higher fatality rates. So they're actually killing you. Trolls. So stupid. So stupid. So stupid. Sweetie, I love how they said this. Republicans have the White House and the Senate. You have to own it. Baby, we're going to put it up because you're stupid. And I need to help you. I need to help you get smarter than this. Do you understand? Now here, this is what we need. Bruce is actually right. Do you understand you have something called a governor? Okay, here. Let's go real slow. Let's go real slow. We can help them out. Okay, we're going to do, we need a visual aid. Okay, see? So here's the flag. This is the flag of the United States of America. Okay, do you see how it has all these stars? See all these stars? Did you know that each one of these stars stands for a state in the United States of America? Each one of these stars is a state. Each one of those states has a governor. States like South Dakota that did not shut down are seeing their economy rebound significantly. States like New York that did shut down and actually had their Democrat governor put individuals, sick elderly people, COVID patients directly into the nursing homes, blood on their hands. That wasn't Trump. Trump didn't put your grandma in the nursing home with the COVID patients. Trump didn't kill thousands and thousands of New Yorkers. That was Cuomo. Okay? Facts. Facts. States that had lower amount of shutdowns did better. Nations that had lower amount of shutdowns did better. But, you know, they want to play the game. They want to play the game of it's President Trump's pandemic when again and again, everyone knows the reality. Sweetheart, I just want to tell you, I just want to tell you, little troll, my sweet little baby troll. Nobody believes what you're saying on the ground. Okay. The neighbors in my neighborhood do not believe that Trump is killing these people. All right. And that this is the one of the most Democrat places in the country. I live in a very blue city. They don't think President Trump is killing people. So that is leftist talking points. That is leftist talking points. Now, since we're doing the lesson, yes, these beautiful stripes, these beautiful 13 stripes are for our original colonies. See, the original colonies. States, the original colonies. Oh, baby. Out of many colonies came a great nation. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We love that flag. Now, as you know, folks, we're going into the week of 9/11. I do want to say that we have some individuals who have put together some great events to try to continue to honor 9/11. Even in New York, they are going to light the lights, even though de Blasio and Cuomo did not want to do that. There has been implemented a reading of the names project. I do not believe they're going to be reading the names on ground zero. It's too dangerous because of Corona. So offensive. I'm angry to the bone because of it. That being said, there will be the reading of the names. I've joined in with many great patriots. We were putting together a video. Many great patriots. I'm actually humbled to be in this lineup of folks who will be reading the names, and we will be sharing this video out on 9/11. So I want to thank my great patriot friends at America Strong for involving me in that. So glad to be a part of it, and I will be sharing with you as well that joyous experience. So it's important we do not forget. We shouldn't forget what our flag stands for. We shouldn't forget our fallen heroes, our fallen patriots, our fallen Americans on 9/11. We should not forget our men and women in law enforcement. I would show you my back to blue flag, but I was using it to do my video, so it's in the other room. So it's getting work. It's getting work, you guys. I agree, Bruce. Bruce says, I feel Trump will win with at least 300 electoral votes. I agree, Bruce. And as I said earlier in the show, that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to get us so excited that Trump is won with such a big margin that they are literally going to try to distract us while they steal the House. So we're going to stay focused. We're going to stay focused. We're going to make sure we put together these Stop the Steal teams. Reach out to me if you are going to be able to do any protesting at the Board of Elections during November in your state. We're going to start teams up. So that's all happening. And I need your help. So please help me. Please help Suzzanne Monk set up Stop the Steal teams so that we can save America. That's all I'm asking. It's easy stuff. All right. We're going to be talking about this more later in the week. I will be back tomorrow on the TECN network. We have the new URL, TECN.com. You can catch me there, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for my show, Life, Liberty, and Talk. Mwah. I love you guys. We'll be back again also Wednesday right here live. Keep doing the good work. Keep doing the good work, you guys. Reach out to me if you are able to participate in a Stop the Steal team in your state. Teamwork makes the dream work. We're going to make this country great again. We're going to get this president reelected. We are going to take back the House. 100%. I love you guys. Until next time, this has been your girl, Suzzanne Monk. Tripping out.